Cheers and happy Mother's Day to all you fine ladies out there raising the best children. Well, guys, there we have it. We just had Money in the Bank 2020, and let me tell you something, brother. It was unique. It was inspiring. It opened new doors to what could happen later on in professional wrestling in general. I'm not one to ride the coattails of WWE because I'm a fan of pro wrestling in all aspects. New Japan, IWGP, so on and so forth. I loved the main event for Money in the Bank 2020. Before we get there, we have to talk about all of the matches that took place. So sit back, crack open a cold one, and let's get to it. The first match we had was Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro, the Swiss Cyborg, the Swiss Superman, the strongest pound-for-pound WWE wrestler today. This was a good back-and-forth match with a lot of offensive blows on Cesaro's behalf. Okay, he was just coming out, being strong, being his normal self, and for the most part of this match, Jeff Hardy looked to be in trouble. And everything he threw, every strike, every drop kick, even climbing up to the ropes, it looked like it was taking a toll, like a giant toll on him, so much that everything was defying gravity, like when you're training in the hyperbolic time chamber. In Dragon Ball Z, he's struggling. He was struggling hardcore. But eventually Jeff Hardy won with his signature Swanton Bomb. And you know what, guys? I'll give it a hit, Chief. Welcome back, Mr. Hardy, the Enigma with charisma. Let's take a sip. Alright. The first match on the main card is a fatal 4-way tag team championship between the Forgotten Sons, Miz and Morrison, A New Day, and Lucha House Party. Gran Metalik and Kofi Kingston started off the match before the Forgotten Sons and Morrison were jumping in. The King of the Ropes, Gran Metalik, was in the match for nearly the whole thing before tagging out. And let me tell you this, guys, this match felt like it was the Lucha House Party versus 3 other tag teams. The Lucha House Party, there was always one representative, whether it be Gran Metalik or whether it be Dorado. One of them was always in the ring, and they put on a show. They totally out-wrestled, outclassed, outperformed Miz and Morrison, the Forgotten Sons, and New Day. Unfortunately, they also had to take the pin from who retained the tag team titles. Now, I've got to say this. I just don't get it. What is with the WWE pushing New Day over and over and over and over again? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing Kofi Kingston. I'm tired of seeing the pancake power bullshit. I'm tired of seeing Big E in his receding hairline. Just move on. There's so much better talent out there. For the most part, too, Kofi Kingston and Big E look slow, look sluggish, look soft even. Kofi looking more like just a normal Joe off the street more and more every performance. Lucha House Party deserved that win. WWE, Lucha House Party are not gatekeepers. They're not stepping stones. They are people who need to be pushed and pushed to the moon, baby, because they are amazing. They're Rey Mysterios in a tag team. That's what they are. Use them better. It's a miss. It's a miss. I forgot I'm doing hits and misses because I got so freaking wound up in all of this. Anyways, next we were supposed to have a filler match well, it was a filler match, but it was supposed to be between MVP and R-Truth, right? But then, all of a sudden, Bobby Lashley's music just starts playing, and he walks out, and he tells MVP, hey, why don't you take the night off, Chief? Huh? Let me handle this. And MVP, you know, he was wearing his Black Panther gear, looking all cool, ready to go. And I'll say that before Bobby Lashley came out, it was really funny because R-Truth was like, ballin'! And then MVP was like, hey, that's my thing. I'm the one who did ballin' first, blah, 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 blah. And then R-Truth was like, did you know you can score 3 points by stepping back a little bit? Ballin'! See, that's 3 points. It was really funny. I gotta give that a hit. It was great. And now, to the match. Oh, yeah. Woo! Bobby Lashley's music hit, and MVP took the night off, replacing him. Now it was R-Truth versus Lashley. What a surprise. It was a rather quick beatdown, with R-Truth getting maybe 2 shots in, and it was really just all Bobby Lashley. And the match ended with a devastating, brutal spear to R-Truth, and Lashley got the 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Like I said, it was a hit. After that quick beatdown is the Smackdown Women's Championship between Baily and Tamina. The match opened up with Baily talking shit and smacking Tamina around, only just before Tamina threw some heavy shots of her own. Baily started taking over once again, slamming the challenger's leg against the ring post and delivering some cheap shots, which none of this should be a surprise to you because Baily is the kind of champion and villain, heel, to talk shit, you know, act tough, but then, no, bro, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. And then when your back is turned, they're you know, throwing blows again and whatnot. So anyways, Tamina started gaining ground again, only to get caught in an ankle lock. She was throwing a super kick, and Baily caught it, twisted, they both went down to the floor, and Baily got Tamina in an ankle lock or a heel lock. Let's see, only for Tamina to reach the ropes. So it did take some time, but Tamina did eventually reach the ropes. Watching the match, you really want Tamina to win, only to get the title off of Baily, who in my opinion is the worst example of someone you can put the belt on. Of someone who's supposed to be the face of the women's division for Smackdown, right? I always forget she's champion because of how irrelevant she is. This has nothing to do with her skill set or her work ethic in the ring, but everything to do with her character. I've seen her and Sasha Banks do their thing over and over and over and over again, to the point that nothing is fresh anymore. Anytime she opens her mouth, I just hear nails on a chalkboard. It's all the same old bullshit, and honestly, you gotta get her out. Anyways, Baily won. Tamina lost because of the Sasha Banks distraction. Let's just call it a miss. This could have been ended even by a freaking surprise roll-up. And I don't know. It was stupid. I understand Tamina does not deserve to have the title on her because she is by far a part-timer. But at the same time, use her to get the belt off of Baily to get on to somebody else who deserves it. I need a sip of the juice. Alright, brother. Next, we've got Bray Wyatt versus, Next, we've got Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman for the Universal title, the Universal Championship. Bray Wyatt comes out first, and he's in his, just Mr. Rogers kind of getup and whatnot. So it seems like we're not going to see the Fiend at all, which in fact, spoiler alert, there's no Fiend. No Fiend. There's 2 shots, flickers of the Fiend. And you see Bray Wyatt have an inner monologue with the Fiend. He's speaking out loud during the match and whatnot. But anyways, so it seems we're not going to... It makes sense really because it makes sense that the Fiend is not here because this storyline has nothing to do with the Fiend, but rather Bray Wyatt, because this whole feud with Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman was long before the Fiend was ever conceived. right? So Braun comes out all pumped up, ready to throw down. Strowman starts off strong, delivering hard shoulder tackles and strikes in the corners. The action went outside of the ring with Strowman basically throwing Bray into anything he could. It was awesome. It was devastating. It was showing you the power behind the monster among men. In a moment of rage, Strowman tried to run and charge Bray into the announce table, but Bray ended up stepping to the side, which, I mean, is really easy to do. You just sidestep, right? I mean, you see matadors do it all the time. Anyways, he sidestepped, Bray ran into the table, and that's when momentum started to turn, and you were like, oh shit, here we go. Bray's gonna win the title. And Huskus the Pig came out. It was kind of creeped me out, I'm not gonna lie. Huskus the Pig came out of nowhere to cheer Bray Wyatt on from behind the barricade. It was really creepy. At this point in the match, it was all Wyatt. Watching this match is like watching chaotic evil versus just regular evil, because Braun Strowman was just wild. It was like watching a bear who had been prodded over and over again versus like one of the hyenas from The Lion King, which would be Bray Wyatt, and Braun Strowman's the prodded bear. Anyways, let's see. So Braun did deliver one of the most devastating choke slams I've ever seen. Bray, in a wild move, put on the black sheep mask, which I did not see coming. He was, below view. He was on the ground outside of the ring, and he stands up and he's got that black sheep mask on, right? Totally unforeseen. All the puppets came out cheering, "You did it, Bray! You did it! Yeah, Braun's home! Braun's home!" Only to have Braun take the mask off, smash it with his boot, and then Bray was like, "No, what are you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. Braun picked up Bray, power slammed him, got the 1, 2, 3, and retained it. He retained a title. I don't remember the last time or any time Bray won a title and then retained it and defended that championship. So Braun is your Universal Champion. Still. And still. Then there's a glitch hacker dude segment about the truth will be heard and whatever. It was cool. Whatever. Let's move on. I will say though, in like that circle, like my light here, like how they show it in the promos, it looks like there's arms for like a clock in the middle of it. So pay attention to that. Anyways, now it's time for the WWE Championship match with Drew McIntyre versus stupid Seth Rollins, the Monday Night Messiah. That's right, I call him stupid because I hate him. Drew and Seth lock up. Really, boom, right away. And they locked up not too long before the champ picked up the pace. Drew is good at talking trash here and is getting in stupid. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at my notes. I wrote, Drew is talking good trash here and getting in stupid's head. Drew must be working for UPS because he was delivering tonight, baby. That's right. He was delivering slams, bams, and chops all over the ring. Rollins started picking up the pace, was delivering tons of aerial knees to the head of Drew, slowing the big man down, going after his left knee in the match as well, in which the left knee is very crucial to deliver that claymore that everybody fears from Drew McIntyre. This took a lot. Oh, I'm sorry. So Rollins had Drew in a single leg Boston Crab, then transitioned into a cross-face neck crank. This took a lot out of the champion right before he got to the ropes. That's important, he got to the ropes. Rollins looked to have the match wrapped up as he delivered plenty of leaping knees to Drew's skull once again. McIntyre started to take control again, delivering slams and boots to the face. That's right, our champ is in control. This match was very back and forth, with Seth teasing bringing in a steel chair, only to have the ref go, Basically, hey, stupid, don't be stupid. Get that out of here. If you bring that in here, obviously McIntyre's gonna win and retain the title because you'd be disqualified. There's rules, dummy. Follow them. Drew went for a Claymore but was countered by a super kick and a curb stomp. But just when you thought it was going to be over, he landed the Claymore after another try and knocked out stupid Seth Rollins. 1, 2, 3, ding, ding, ding. Drew McIntyre is still your WWE champion. It was a hit, baby. Then we got a... Okay, hold on. Then... We got a funny promo from R-Truth saying he's going to sack Tom Brady to get his 24/7 title back. And then I thought it was funny that the interviewer, I think it was Caleb Braxton, I can't remember her name. She was like, he means Rob Gronkowski. It was hilarious. It was very funny. You know, R-Truth is always good for some laughs. Next, we're seeing the lineup and basically the beginning of the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Well, corporate building escalation ladder match, whatever you want to call it. So now we're seeing the lineup and everyone getting ready for the Money in the Bank corporate building ladder match. I'm getting more and more. I was getting so excited. I started to feel like this was going to be something I've never really seen before. When they announced Asuka, she was already, so like all the women were announced in the main lobby and all the guys started off in the gym, right? So in the main lobby, they had like all the elevators and stuff, right? Elevator doors, and they were lining up the women. And then Asuka was like on a ledge above everybody and no one saw her. And when they announced her, or when they like started the match, Asuka just jumped on everyone, body slammed them all, you know? And then like took off and got in the elevator. It was crazy. Okay, so Asuka jumped off the ledge, tackled all the elite contestants. King Corbin threw. This was nuts. And I'm not sure if this was real or not, but King Corbin picked up a 45-pound weight plate and threw it right at Daniel Bryan. But Daniel Bryan moved out of the way, and it destroyed a mirror, shattered a mirror in the gym. And, I mean, Corbin was like, kind of like, what did I just do? Shit, like, I could have killed him. He was standing like in bewilderment of what he just did. It was nuts. Anyway, Otis trapped AJ Styles under an Olympic bar, which would seem to have like 500 pounds on it. So after that, I stopped. I don't know if you can even see really. Yeah. I just stopped writing notes after that because this match was unlike anything I had ever seen before. It was so good, I did not want it to end. There were bits and pieces throughout this whole match that just, the journey up there was everything you wanted it to be. They had cameos from like Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon, Doink the Clown, I believe, and the guy who went People Power. I know. I cannot remember his name at the moment. But, I mean, just to give you an example of how zany it was, there was a part where, what is his name? Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was sitting down basically at his own buffet, and he had all this food, and all the wrestlers, male and female, were standing like face to face. And it was like they were gonna battle each other. And then freaking Paul Heyman goes, "Ladies and gentlemen," and then Otis all of a sudden starts losing his shit, and he's like, "Food fight!" And all of the food, freaking Otis grabbed a whole plate of whatever was on there and threw it right on the face of Paul Heyman. And then from that point, it was just zaniness and craziness. Like, you had Shayna Baszler choking out Rey Mysterio. You had Otis charging Nia Jax with Rey Mysterio right in the middle, unfortunately. I mean, it was just nuts. It was crazy. There were funny spots throughout this whole thing. Like, AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan were fighting, and they were battling, right, going through office to office, until they ended up eventually in Vince McMahon's office. And he just, like, turned around, like, he was, like, in his chair. You know, like this. And he just turns around. Like all cool and shit, right? And then he stands up and he's like, ouch! And they're like, oh, okay, sorry. And they're walking out and then AJ goes, oh, the chairs. Because they like bumped into some chairs. So they fix the chairs and whatever and they're like, all right, sorry, thank you, yep, whatever. And they walk out and they're like, whew, that was a close one. You know, it was really funny. This whole thing was crazy. But I know, let's get to the end, Nick. You're rambling. Let's get to it, baby. So, we got Asuka on the roof. We've got, what's her name? Women's right, Lacey Evans. There we go. We have Asuka, Lacey Evans, and Nia Jax on the roof, who seem to be the finalists for getting up on the ladder, which eventually led to Asuka winning the females, the women's, baby, Money on the Bank ladder match. So it looks like she's going to be facing off against none other than Becky Lynch. And hopefully she can right her wrongs and avenge her loss against Becky Lynch. Then, we finished off, ladies and gentlemen, with the men's Money on the Bank ladder match on the rooftop. We had Otis out there. We had Rey Mysterio. We had Aleister Black, King Corbin, Daniel Bryan, and AJ Styles. All of the men's roster made it up. Only to have King Corbin literally murder Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black. He threw them off the freaking roof. Literally grabbed them by the neck, threw them off the roof. Gone. You hear, ah, thud. What are we supposed to think? If we see them on TV again, I better see them in a full body cast if they're not going to be dead. Or they better not be on TV for like a good year because they were in some freaking coma. How are you going to explain that? WWE? What are you going to do? Force them to retire? Keep the kayfabe going? No. So you had Otis, poor Otis. They were making fun of him for his weight. Every time he would step on a step for the ladder, it would break. So that you're thinking, like, how is he going to climb up the ladder? How does he even have a chance to do this? And then you had AJ dueling King Corbin at the top of the ladder, right? They were going back and forth. And AJ had unlocked the briefcase, but both him and King Corbin both had a hand on it. And out of nowhere, Elias, baby, came out. Bam! Broke a guitar across the back of King Corbin. I don't care what you say. King Corbin had this coming from Elias after all of the just brutal beatings that he would deliver to Elias out of cheap shots while Elias is backstage doing interviews and whatnot. And so, at that point of the power struggle and then the guitar getting beaten on the back of King Corbin, AJ Styles and King Corbin let go of the briefcase and it ultimately fell into the hands of Otis, baby! Yeah! That's right, Otis is your men's Money in the Bank champion. Dude, this is so exciting because this leaves so many doors open for opportunity for him. Now, I will say I do feel bad for Tucker, because he's kind of playing, backseat fiddle now. And I'm very intrigued to see where this is going to take their tag team, because he won Money in the Bank. And what if he wins a men's title? I mean, I don't know. I really hope they don't fudge up Heavy Machinery, because they are my favorite men's tag team. Aside from Lucha House Party, of course. But that was it, guys. That was Money in the Bank 2020. Now, I need to go back to my predictions and see which ones I got right and which ones I got wrong, which I'm sure I got more wrong than I got right. I just have a feeling. But let me know in the comments down below what you brothers and sisters thought of this match on this awesome, excellent Mother's Day. Guys, call your mamas if you haven't already. Tell them Happy Mother's Day, brother. Say your prayers and eat your vitamins. And I'll see you in the next video. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, because that really helps out the channel. Alright, Happy Mother's Day!